All right, welcome to the feature demo for the Digital Library of the Middle East. This concludes most of the back-end work that we have been working on, and this is more focused on user features. This is a spotlight exhibit built on top of Blacklight, and indexed items from our individual institutions that we've processed so far include many different languages, many different types. We also have included the spatial extent, so you can filter by that information, as well as date facets. We are still in the process right now of creating which elements need to be in this facet, which are the most useful, but right now all of them are. We also have the beginnings of an about page that is being migrated from our current website at dlme.clear.org, as well as additional pages, so all of our content can be migrated to this one particular site. Users can currently search everything, title or creator, by putting in a search, or search for everything by simply clicking on the icon here. We are still working on getting thumbnails for most image types, but as you can see, when you have a actual exhibit with thumbnails, thumbnails are shown on the left-hand side, and the individual items are then shown on this page with links back into the actual contributing repository that provided the content. We're also looking at rich data types like maps that allow you to zoom in and zoom out with an image overlay of the map, with all of the metadata from the individual records, as well as links back to the individual records. On the admin backend, we're also able now to create feature pages where we can create new content by simply clicking a few buttons and adding new pages. So if we wanted to add a new page, we simply write in here, new page, and click save, and then able to edit the page content and have this immediately available as soon as it's live. On the back end, there are also pages for about pages, and we are currently moving all of this information over from our current site into the new site. We also have configuration options for the main site, as well as the ability to turn off and and edit metadata fields, as well as control how the searches are being displayed.
You can also incorporate items into pages. Here, we're creating a new page first. We then select the item row widget to add a new item or set of items to a page. We select the item from the drop-down based on a search, add a heading and some text for that item, and then save the page. We also specify that this text should be the primary caption for this object. And it's just that easy to embed images or other items directly in pages.
I think the one other thing that we should probably touch on briefly, since it was a major part of the work that we did during this work cycle, is I'd say probably a good 80% of the work was getting the data pipeline in place. So we received records from, I believe, about 7 or 8 institutions, or that's what's currently represented in in the data set that we have right now. And given that each of them used, there were a number of different institutions that used different kinds of metadata. So everything from mods records to different kinds of CSV files, TEI data for encoded text objects. A lot of the work that we had to do was to go ahead and process and normalize that data into a common representation. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of depth, but I'd encourage anybody from the development team to jump in if they want. This is something that we covered on the last 2 demo videos. That was really the major part of the effort that that the team put in, and will be a continuing, ongoing part of the work, given the need to really accurately pull in data from lots of different sources.
The one thing I think I would add about this is that the way that this has been designed makes it relatively simple to add different database or data sets into the system, which is one of the most clever ways I've seen this done. I just tip my hats to the engineers who came up with these solutions. It is not dependent primarily on engineers adding this stuff. It is on its way to being user-friendly, and I again tip my hats to the efforts that they put in on this.
Just the one other thing I would add is that, as Wayne said, we're given that the Stanford work cycle has now closed. We're basically in a process of transition to handing responsibility off to Wayne for getting data into the prototype. So we are continuing to do that outreach with to a number of different institutions, and that data load, that sort of planning for data load, is still going on.
Wayne will be taking on that responsibility, and Stanford staff will still be available in case that he has any difficulties.